There comes a quiet moment in life, often later than we expect, when the noise begins to fade. The noise of proving yourself. The noise of chasing the next goal. The noise of needing to be more, have more, achieve more. Nothing dramatic happens. You may be sitting by a window, walking down a familiar street, or resting at the end of an ordinary day. And yet something inside had shifted. Success still exists, but it no longer pulls at you the same way. Money still matters, but it doesn't define your worth. Achievement feels quieter now, less urgent. And in that softness, a deeper question naturally arises. What actually matters? Now in Buddhist wisdom, aging is not a decline. It is a turning inward. When striving fades, understanding ripens. When the world stops demanding so much from you, life offers something else in return. Clarity. There comes a time when life stops asking you to prove something and starts asking you to understand something. As time passes, many of the things that once felt essential begin to loosen their grip. Status, titles, and comparison slowly lose their shine. Productivity, the constant need to be useful, busy, and impressive, no longer feels like proof of worth. What once drove you forward now feels heavy to carry. This shift can be confusing at first. You may look back and wonder why you spent so much energy protecting an image, chasing approval, or measuring yourself against others. There may be regret around how much time was given to appearances instead of presence. But Buddhism teaches that this realization is not a failure. It is a sign of clarity arriving. Letting go is often mistaken for loss. In truth, it is relief. When attachment loosens, suffering softens. The mind no longer needs to perform, defend, or compete. You stop carrying expectations that were never truly yours to begin with. The exhaustion many feel later in life does not come from age alone. It comes from holding on to roles, identities, and pressures long after they've stopped serving the heart. When these begin to fall away, something quieter emerges. Space. In Buddhist wisdom, freedom is not found by adding more meaning. It comes from releasing what is unnecessary. Not everything that once felt important remains meaningful, and recognizing that is not emptiness. It is wisdom making room for what truly matters now. As the urgency of proving and striving softens, something else quietly steps forward. What begins to matter more is not how much you achieve, but how you experience your days. Peace starts to feel more valuable than recognition. A calm morning, an unhurried conversation, a body that feels respected. These become treasures rather than afterthoughts. Ambition often narrows life. It keeps attention fixed on what is missing, what is next, what must still be done. But later in life, many discover a different kind of richness. Enoughness, enough time, enough comfort, enough connection. The constant hunger for more loosens, and in its place comes a sense of sufficiency that does not depend on improvement or comparison. From a Buddhist perspective, this shift is not accidental. Contentment is not something that happens when life becomes perfect. It is something cultivated when the mind stops demanding that life be different. Joy in this view is not a reward for success. It is a natural state that emerges when resistance fades. Simplicity begins to matter more than accumulation. Fewer possessions, fewer obligations, fewer explanations. Life becomes lighter when it is not crowded. What remains tends to be what is essential: health, presence, kindness, and moments of quiet awareness. This does not mean withdrawing from life or losing interest in the world. It means relating to life differently. Instead of chasing intensity, you begin to value steadiness. Instead of collecting experiences, you learn to inhabit them fully. What matters now is not how impressive your life looks from the outside, but how it feels from within. Not how much you did, but how gently you live. In Buddhist wisdom, this gentleness is not weakness. It is maturity. It is the natural expression of a mind that has learned what is worth holding and what can finally be set down. As time passes, relationships begin to change in a quiet but meaningful way. The need to maintain many connections often fades, and what remains are fewer relationships that feel more honest and nourishing. This is not loneliness. It is discernment. Energy becomes precious, and it naturally flows toward people with whom you can be yourself without effort or performance. Earlier in life, relationships are often shaped by roles and expectations. We stay connected out of duty, obligation, or fear of disappointing others. But in later life, presence begins to matter more than appearances. You no longer want to maintain relationships. You want to experience them. A single sincere conversation can feel richer than many polite exchanges. From a Buddhist perspective, right relationship is rooted in compassion, not attachment. Love is not about possession, control, or being indispensable. It is about meeting another person as they are without needing them to fill a gap or confirm your worth. This kind of love is quieter but deeper. It listens more than it speaks. Listening itself becomes an act of love. When you listen without preparing a response, without correcting or fixing, you offer something rare: full attention. In Buddhist teaching, this kind of presence is a form of generosity. It says, "I am here with you without conditions." Relationships that feel true are not built on constant activity. They are built on comfort in silence, mutual respect, and the freedom to be honest even about limitations. There is less need to impress, explain, or prove. What remains is warmth, understanding, and shared humanity. In old age, love is not about being needed. It is about being present. And presence given freely and without grasping creates connections that are steady, peaceful, and deeply human. In later life, the body begins to change its pace. Movement slow. Energy arrives in waves instead of abundance. Sensations become more noticeable. Many people meet these changes with resistance, frustration, or quiet disappointment, believing the body is failing or breaking down. But from a Buddhist perspective, this view adds unnecessary suffering. The body is not an enemy. It is a companion that has carried you through decades of living. Every ache, every need for rest, every request for gentleness is a form of communication. The body is not asking to be fixed. It is asking to be listened to. Buddhism teaches mindfulness of the body as the first foundation of wisdom. This means meeting physical experience with awareness rather than judgment. When the body slows, it invites you to slow with it. When it needs rest, it offers a lesson in humility and care. These are not signs of decline. They are teachings that only time can offer. Resistance creates tension. Respect creates ease. When you stop fighting the body and begin caring for it with reverence, something shifts internally. Simple acts, stretching gently, resting without guilt, moving with awareness, become expressions of gratitude rather than attempts to correct what is wrong. Caring for the body in old age is not indulgence. It is acknowledgement. It honors the life that has been lived and the life that continues. The Buddha taught that wisdom does not come from forcing the body, but from understanding it. Your body is not breaking down. It is asking to be met differently with patience, attention, and kindness. When you respond this way, the body becomes not a burden, but a quiet ally on the path of living well. As life slows, the past often grows louder. Memories return, not always the joyful ones, but the unfinished stories, the moments we wish had gone differently. Regret in later life is rarely dramatic. It arrives quietly, as gentle ache, as questions that begin with, "What if?" or "if only?" Many people carry these thoughts in silence, believing it is too late to make peace with them. From a Buddhist perspective, suffering does not come from remembering the past. It comes from clinging to it, especially to an old identity shaped by guilt, blame, or disappointment. The mind returns again and again, replaying scenes that cannot be changed, hoping for a different ending that never comes. Forgiveness is not denial. It is freedom. Forgiveness does not mean approving of every choice you made. It means recognizing the conditions under which you lived. You acted with the understanding, emotional capacity, and circumstances available to you at the time. To judge that version of yourself with today's awareness is to be unfair to someone who was simply trying to survive. Buddhism teaches non-attachment not as forgetting, but as releasing the grip. Memories can remain without wounding. The past can be remembered without being relived. When compassion replaces self-punishment, memory softens. Begin by meeting your past self with kindness. Instead of asking, "Why did I do that?" gently ask, "What was I needing then?" Often beneath regret is fear, longing, or exhaustion. When these are seen, judgment loosens. You do not honor the past by carrying its pain forever. You honor it by learning from it and allowing yourself peace now. The past does not need correction. It needs compassion. And when compassion arrives, the heart finally rests. As we grow older, uncertainty becomes more visible. The future feels less predictable, the body less guaranteed, the timeline less defined. Many people respond to this by trying to plan more, control more, or worry more, hoping certainty will bring peace. But Buddhism offers a gentler truth. Peace does not come from securing the future. It comes from preparing the heart. In Buddhist wisdom, impermanence is not a threat. It is a fact of life. Everything changes. Health, roles, relationships, even the sense of self. When we resist this truth, fear grows. When we accept it, something softens inside. Control slowly gives way to trust. Not blind trust in outcomes, but trust in our capacity to meet whatever arises. Preparing the heart means cultivating qualities that remain steady even as circumstances shift. Patience when plans dissolve. Kindness when the body weakens. Presence when answers are unavailable. These are forms of readiness no plan can replace. Instead of asking what will happen to me, Buddhism invites a different question. How will I meet what happens? With bitterness or with openness? With fear or with compassion? This does not mean passivity. You still care for your health, your relationships, your daily life. But the tight grip on how things must unfold loosens. You stop rehearsing the future and start inhabiting the present more fully. What matters most is not what happens next, but how open your heart remains. A prepared heart can meet uncertainty without collapsing. It can rest even when outcomes are unknown. And in that openness, life, just as it is, becomes enough. A meaningful life is rarely loud. It is not measured by how much you achieved, produced, or proved. Often it is defined quietly by how you treated others, how gently you met yourself, and how willing you were to let go. In later life, you do not need to add more to be worthy. You only need to soften, to release what no longer serves, to rest in what remains. Your value was never measured by how much you achieve or how much you produce. Your worth has always existed within you, simply because you are who you are. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself, what truly gave meaning to your journey? What moments, connections, and lessons shaped your heart? Feel free to share your reflections in the comments. And if these thoughts connect with you, subscribe for more Buddhist wisdom on finding clarity, inner peace, and a meaningful life. Because in the end, what matters most is simple: that you lived with awareness, that you loved with compassion, and that you learned the art of letting go.